What is going on, beautiful people? I am Lee Hammock, the diagnosed self-aware narcissist known as mental illness, and welcome to another episode of A Narcissist Explains. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about arrested development and how a lot of narcissistic people are emotionally unintelligent. They might be intelligent, mental, brain-wise, but they might be emotionally unintelligent. Stay tuned, like and subscribe for more. Thank you. So this person is saying that the narcissist or toxic person that she dealt with was like a little kid. And that is absolutely 100% true, y'all, because most narcissistic people experience arrested development, where they experience some type of trauma that makes them stop in emotional growth and emotional intelligence. A narcissistic person can be like really intelligent. They can be like smart people, but they can be emotionally unintelligent, where they have a hard time processing their own emotions, and they take out their anger and frustration onto you. And arrested development comes from some type of trauma, y'all. It could come from like physical abuse, mental abuse, whatever type of abuse. It can cause that person to stop growing emotionally. Where you can have a 36-year-old 5-year-old or 36-year-old 10-year-old. Like, they might be 36 years old, but they act 10, 11, 12 years old, y'all. And generally speaking, even my therapist said, like, most narcissistic people are going to be emotionally between the ages of 8 and 12 years old. So sometimes when you're having a conversation or an argument with a narcissist, it's like you're arguing with a young child or a teenager, y'all. So stay strong, and I hope this helps. So Arrested Development. It sounds like I know there's a TV show out there called Arrested Development. I haven't seen it, so don't ask me. You're like, Lee, have you seen it? No, I haven't seen the TV show, y'all. I just know my therapist talked about Arrested Development. She's like, you stopped growing emotionally probably when you were in your early teens or late what's the preteens, early teens, late preteens or whatever. So you stop growing. A lot of narcissistic people experience some type of trauma in their lives that sometimes makes them have to grow up faster, where they skip stages of emotional growth, or they get some type of trauma where they just stop growing emotionally. But me personally, I had to, I'm the oldest brother, so I have to look out for my younger brother. So I had to kind of play the role of, not just a young kid. I had to play the role of kind of like a pseudo parent or something like that. And it happens in a lot of households, y'all, because, especially in a lot of single parent households, the oldest child sometimes gets the duties of a parent, taking care of the younger kids. It happens, y'all. Times are different. It definitely happens. But a lot of times, like you seen the comment that I did my TikTok on, it said they are like a little kid. Yeah. A lot of times when you're arguing with a narcissist, if you're arguing with anybody, not just a narcissist or toxic person, ask yourself how old that response was. How old is this response right now? How old, what age are they responding to me as? Are they 30? They might be 35 years old, but how old is that response? The silent treatment, for example, how old is the putting your hands in your? It's pretty much putting your hands in your ears and listening. That's pretty much what the silent treatment is. Ignoring you. How old is that response? Instead of being a 35-year-old, 36-year-old, instead of just talking their problems out and dealing with what's going on, they just go silent on you to avoid accountability. That's a young ass response, y'all. That is like a 10-year-old response, 11-year-old response, 12-year-old response. It's a young person response. It's not an adult response. It's not a mature response. So a lot of narcissistic people with this arrested development stuff, they stop growing emotionally, so they're going to respond to you at their emotional age. When they face conflict, they're going to respond to you at their emotional age. How old is a rage fest? How old is narcissistic rage? Is pretty much an uncontrolled adult temper tantrum, because they're not getting what they want in that moment. Whether or not they want to be left alone, whether or not they don't want to be held accountable, whether or not they want to avoid shame. In that moment right there, they don't know what they're going. They're not getting what they want, so they rage out and yell and scream and kick and cry and break shit. How old is that person? How old are they? I know they might be 40 years old, but how old is that response? Rage, silent treatment, those responses are young people responses. I know y'all see the background right here. I'm outside, my kids are in their sleep, and I didn't want to wake them up and come outside and record videos on this beautiful Saturday. But how old is that response? They are like a little kid. So sometimes when you're arguing with your 45-year-old partner, understand that they might be responding to you as a 10-year-old because something happened to them around 10 years old that made them stop growing emotionally. Who knows what happened, y'all? They might have told you what happened. You might know their parents and you might know what happened to them. But this is not telling, you can empathize with them. You can feel empathy for them. But that doesn't justify their behaviors.
So me personally, I've been in therapy for the last 5 years working on my emotional intelligence, trying to learn and trying to grow. Over the last 5 years, my therapist has said that I've had some emotional birthdays. I haven't gained empathy. I know y'all gonna say, Lou, did you gain some empathy? Did you learn how to love? I haven't gained those things. I know you can't, those are emotions. Those are something else. But what I've gained is some emotional intelligence to understand people's perspective a little bit more. Because, I do my Zooms, I do my one-on-ones over Zoom and things like that. And I used to have trouble connecting to people because people would be crying and stuff like that. And I don't connect to the crying. But I understand the crying because I've been going to therapy. I get it. I really, really do. I get it. But I still don't get into it. You know what I mean? So a lot of narcissistic people, whatever trauma happened to them, they need to do some inner child work, because that's what we've been doing in my therapy. We've been doing inner child work, trying to go back to you, what happened to you, and deal with it, process it. That's the only way you can grow. How can you grow if a lot of people don't want to face their inner child and don't want the growth to happen. But the only way you grow is if you face that, you got to go back and face it. You have to. Me, myself, personally, my inner child, I did a video, episode 402 of the Narcissistic Code. It's about my inner child work. So I'm not going to go into too great detail, but episode 402 of the Narcissistic Code in the playlist is about my inner child work and how my brain has literally manifested a version of myself to protect my inner child. It is absolutely insane how my mind works and how deep I've gotten into that while in therapy. Just my brain has literally created a manifestation of myself, a version of me right now that stands guard at the door of my childhood and will not let me in there. It's literally a big, huge manifestation of me that protects myself. It's crazy. But I have to go through that, y'all. It's painful. It's actually kind of scary, honestly. It's kind of scary. But I have to go through that. I have to be willing to go through that if I want to grow more emotionally. I've hit a plateau probably, and I gotta go. I gotta go box myself. I gotta go box my inner manifestation. But it's kind of funny. But yeah, if you're dealing with narcissists or toxic people or whoever, understand that, yeah, they might have stopped growing emotionally and they're responding to you at their emotional age. Again, emotional intelligence and actual intelligence are two totally different things. You can have a goddamn rocket scientist that's out here like literally creating more efficient rocket fuel, but be at home, give you the silent treatment because they don't know how to deal with accountability. Emotional intelligence and actual intelligence are two totally different things. That rocket scientist, if they are narcissists, they might have stopped growing emotionally at 9 years old, but they're a 48-year-old rocket scientist figuring out more efficient rocket fuel, making a damn a hybrid rocket, or electric rocket or something like that. Things like that. So you have to deal, I'm just telling you, this is what you have to deal with when you're dealing with narcissistic and toxic people, y'all. This is part of it, honestly. Ask yourself, how old is this response that you're getting? And you might have to dumb down your response to them. I know that sounds crazy as hell. Like, why do I have to dumb myself down? You might have to dumb down your response to that narcissist. Your emotional response might be a 35-year-old response, but you might have to dumb your response down to a 10-year-old to just talk to them for a few seconds. I'm not telling you to do that. It might actually be some backwards ass advice. Don't take that advice, y'all. Don't take that. Remember, erase that one. I mean, it could be some good advice. I don't know. Don't be careful testing it out. You always use discretion, because I don't. My wife talks to me like I said. But right now, like I said, I've had some emotional birthdays. I'm an emotional teenager now, y'all. I'm probably like 15 years old emotionally. I started off as like a 10-year-old, but I'm like 15 now. So I'm about. Look, I just hit emotional puberty. You hear my voice getting deeper and everything. I'm emotional puberty right now. I'm getting some hair. I'm getting some emotional hair on my chest. My emotional beard is growing in. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, I get carried away with this stupidity sometimes. Sorry, I joke too much. But that's why y'all love it here. That's why you love this channel, because it's going to be different than most other channels, because I'm keeping it real with you. I have no idea what I'm going to say. No idea. I start off with a topic and I just get, oh, shit. The hell is that? Oh, what's on my leg? This is the joys of filming outside, y'all. I have no ideas. Oh, damn, ants. It's ants. I'm standing on an ant car. Oh, yeah. Sorry, y'all. I have no idea where these topics are going to go, y'all. I just get a topic and I just start talking. I didn't have any idea I was gonna say emotional hair on your chest. Yeah, but I'm growing emotionally. Baby steps, y'all. They are baby steps. And this is not to give you hope for your narcissistic person that they can go to therapy and grow emotionally. They have to want to go do that, y'all. They have to want to. You can't force them. You can't make them. They have to want to go do that. There's pain and suffering in wanting to go do that, y'all. Let me keep it real with you. It just is. It hurts sometimes. But for me, I'm willing to deal with the pain. And not for my wife, not for my kids, for me. For me. Take the burden off of you. Anyways, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode. Like and subscribe for more. And as always, Mental Illness is out. Peace.